Hey, what's up everyone? This is Joe Kid STI, and I believe this is the most extreme, efficient, best upgrade for any gaming system ever, and let's get right into it. In this video, I'll be covering everything about installing an SSD, why I use Samsung, especially the 990 Pro, airflow issues, and setup. We're going to start off with brand new everything, so this way everyone knows I didn't touch any of this. It's all brand new. I bought the God of War Ragnarok edition maybe 8 months ago, intending on doing this video, so excuse that it's an older version, but it is what it is. Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. This is the 4th PS5 install I've done with a M.2 SSD. I've used 980 Pros with heat sinks for all my other projects. All 3 PlayStations still work great to this day, and I did them about 8 months ago, so I've had no reliability issues, and that's why I keep with Samsung, because they're reliable. And it's pretty fast too. So the reliability is great, and that's what I care about most. A few more seconds of loading, what does it really matter? You want to turn on your PlayStation and know that all the memory is there. This is the first install I'm going to be doing with a 990 Pro with heatsink, and I chose this drive because of the reliability of all other 3 980 Pros I've used, and also because this specific hard drive has all of the heating components on the top of the drive with none underneath. So that keeps it a little bit cooler and the heat flowing in one direction. So also, the stock hard drive of the PS5 has about 850 gigs, which is ridiculous because the OS takes up like 200 gigs. So really you have 600 gigs of space, which is not a lot, and you end up deleting a bunch of games and re-downloading them, and it sucks. And I think everyone agrees. So with a 2 terabyte hard drive, you can choose whatever one you want. I stick with Samsung. I think they make great hard drives. This one is supposed to be 7,450 megabytes per second, whereas the stock hard drive inside the PS5 is only 5,000 megabytes per second, so you're going to have more performance, better loading speed, more storage. Everything will be better. Trust me. I learned how to make the PS5 the most efficient I believe I could possibly make it without buying anything other than the SSD and the PS5 and using some tools and a little bit of engineering and effort. So now we're going to open everything. Let's go. I've actually never seen this drive before. So it will be kind of interesting to see what they've done differently. Very sleek. So much smaller heatsink, but I guess it makes up for everything being on top and nothing on the bottom. We shall see what kind of speed we get with it. Let's open this. Little thingy. This is actually the first digital edition PS5 I've ever seen in real life, so we'll see it together. That's fine. May not be the neatest person, but I get things done. Controller. We'll need that at some point. Wires. I don't know why they didn't just make it stay flat on its surface in the first place, because that would have been kind of a better design. Let's see what we got here. Little God of War Ragnarok redeemable code. And alrighty then. Pretty sleek. I don't really use discs myself, so I'm kind of into it. Let's get it. So we're gonna start with popping the top off, which is actually pretty easy. A lot of people have trouble with it, but use the PS symbol as your reference. You're gonna go for the upper left over here, and you're gonna pull down horizontally this way on with this hand. So little pippity pop, and it's done. All right. So this is the top of the PlayStation. The air flows from the bottom to the top. So the air is flowing in here and then into all the internals into the PlayStation through these vents and out through the back where all the plugs are. And that's where most of the heat comes out, and the bottom is where it gets the most hot. That's how it works. So we're gonna flip it over. And now opposite side, because it's upside down, we're gonna pull here and vertical this way. Comes right off. And here's the bottom. And this is what we're gonna be mostly working on right now. So I've seen some people run it without the faceplate at all. And what happens there is dust can collect in here, and also this gets very hot, which leads to a ton of hot air going into the PS5, into the internals, and potentially overheating your PS5 so that both drives slow down, which is not optimal. So with the plate on, the drive gets very hot, and since this is the drive being mostly used, you don't want any lag or anything like that with this drive. So what I propose is an in-between solution that I've come up with myself, and let's get into it. This is the expansion bay for the M.2 SSD Gen 4, and all you gotta do is take off this little screw. And Sony's design is a negative pressure design, which means that there's no air flowing into where the hard drive sits. And as the hard drive gets hotter, the pressure inside of the expansion bay gets greater than the pressure outside inside the PlayStation, which leads to hot air escaping through these two tiny vents, which I think me and most people agree is not the best ventilation, especially for a very fast, large hard drive that gets hot. So, and after hours of gameplay. So, I'm gonna show you how to fix that. But first, let's just show, this is how you install it if you just want to stop here and install your SSD. So you take the plate off. There's gonna be a tiny screw in here with a spacer, and you wanna take that out. And then we're gonna take the Samsung M.2 990 hard drive, and we're gonna put it in. And I just wanna say, anyone over the holidays, if you see one of these on sale on Amazon or anywhere where you go shopping, I would suggest to grab one if you have a PS5 or if you're planning on getting one. I think it's really a great upgrade that really makes it an insane machine. Just a really incredible upgrade. So first we're gonna put in the washer right here, because that's where it's gonna fit for this hard drive and for most 2TB hard drives. And you're gonna put in the SSD at about a 30-degree angle. It's gonna pop right in. There it is. It'll sit right above the washer. You're gonna take the little screw, put it in there. And before you touch the hard drive or anything, you might want to touch something metal, like a door handle or anything, just to make sure you have no static electricity in your body, because that's bad for electronics. So you're gonna screw this in, hand tight. Out there. And then you just put this back on, and that's Sony's way of doing it. But we're gonna do this the Joe Kid STI way and go above and beyond. So get ready. Also, I just want to say again that this SSD has no components on the bottom. So there's a copper plate on the bottom, and then all the memory storage units are on top. So all the heat should be coming out and not down, which is pretty good. So we'll see. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to let everyone know the next step, I'm going to use a power drill, and we're going to drill some vent holes in the plate right here, because this area is very small and it could just use a little extra ventilation for heat to escape and go into the fan. And drill some vent holes in here and use some wire mesh to make it pretty sick. So that's what we're gonna do. So you're gonna start off by putting the plate back on the top of the PS5 with the PS symbol. Then I'm gonna flip it back over. So I'm gonna use a powdered energy drink. Don't wanna get sued here. It fits perfectly over the fan to use as a template. Or you can use anything, cylinder, peanut butter jar, ball jar, anything that is circular and fits on top of the fan. So we're gonna take the bottom plate. We're gonna use the top plate as a reference on the bottom and the clips to see where this goes. And make sure it's straight. All right, we're gonna take a marker and make a little circle here. Okay. Now that you have your circle, I think maybe we'll give it a little double check. If that sits right above the fan, and it seems that it does. Once you have the circle for the fan, which usually I cut out in a circle, but I have a different design today, and we're gonna also put a line where the hard drive is. So let's see, if we lift it up a little, it is right here. Right about there. Gonna double check everything. Actually need the lid to make absolutely sure this. Alright, so we got a circle, and we got where the expansion bay is. And we're going to take this as well, and see you over there. So we're going to start out with the faceplate, which I'm going to put against this piece of wood because it has a tendency to spin around if you drill into it. But we're not going to let that happen. So here we go. And we're going to do 3 holes, try to make them start near the top. Number 3. Not perfect, but now that we have our 3 holes, it doesn't matter. It's gonna do what it's supposed to do. The bottom plate can get a little tricky because of the curve, but if you get it right on point, it's all right. We're going to start with the SSD holes. And then we're going to move on to the smiley face ventilation hole. Best, I got it. Let's go. So, second. Got the eye holes. I'm gonna do the mouth. So now that we have all the components completed, we're gonna put her back together. So what I'm doing now is cutting a little piece of metal mesh you could get at any hardware store. I shouldn't have done that so close to this. And I'm fitting it around here for dust protection. I put a piece of metal mesh that I cut out just a little bit longer than the sides just to wrap it over a tiny bit so it doesn't interfere with the sealing of the expansion bay. Cut a little extra off. Gonna take the screw with the PS symbols on it, the big screw that connects to here. Gonna put this back on. Hand tight. And then we're gonna snap on the smiley face vent over here. Haha. Boom. Perfect. Pretty cool. So that's it for my custom SSD installation and air ventilation solution. And next is paint, so stay tuned for the next video. Alright, last we're gonna set it up and see how it works. Take mine away from here. I'm sorry, but you have to go away for a minute. Okay. I like going sideways just because, I don't know, I'm old school like that. Alright, plug it in. I also use an Edge controller, which I highly recommend, and I'll probably do its own video. Here we go! Boop! Have to connect the controller. Waiting. Okay, so press the PS button. Once it's fully on, gonna select English. So since there's no data on this drive, it's brand new, we can just format it. As you can see, it goes extremely fast. Read speed 6,557. That's pretty good. Megabytes per second. Battery change. That was annoying. So we had 6,557 read speed, which is really good. Install updates, I like to put no, because then I don't like to be interrupted in the middle of a game because of a software update. Download game and app updates, I like to do it manually. Simple as that. Okay, now that you're logged in, check out Settings, Storage, Console Storage, 649 gigs, M.2 storage, 2 terabytes. Bam! Installation location, I like to put PS5 games and apps on the M.2, and I like to leave PS4 games and apps on the console storage. And that's that. Next is Paint. One last thing I want to share is I always keep a fan pointed at my PS5 in this direction, taking the ambient air off the top and bottom, and also supplying cool air underneath to where the vents are. So for optimal cooling, so that you can play for as many hours as you want. And that's that. So the next video is going to be Paint. If you like my content, like and subscribe. If you found this interesting, if you have any other cool ideas, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time.